So obviously, I want to ask you about this letter that you sent Governor Allen, kind of
Yeah.
based on the question that I asked at the debate.
Yep.
Is there one particular thing that kind of made it go from kind of just a debate back and forth to you formally requesting that the two sides sit down and come up with some sort of an agreement?
Well, Ryan, I've watched. I mean, you asked a very pointed question at the debate about would we take a no Superpac pledge, and I was willing to do that, and George was not. But in the answer, he basically said, "I like the Virginia system of full transparency," and I've been kicking that one around. And thinking about it for the couple months since the debate, and we had decided maybe a month or so ago that we wanted to let's put that on the table. How about just make it simple? If you won't agree to no super PACs, at least we should all be able to agree no secret money. And since George had already said that he agreed with that proposition, this seems like the right time to do it.
Obviously, this is something that would benefit your campaign in a lot of different ways because there's a lot more of this money coming in to the Allen campaign right now than there is coming into your campaign. How do you make it an argument about just campaign strategy versus kind of a real belief that this is not good for campaigning?
Well, Ryan, actually, I don't think it benefits my campaign at all. If they're going to put money in, they're going to put money in. Who benefits from transparency is the voters. That's why these transparency laws were put in place after Watergate in every state and in the nation, too. The idea was the public has a right to know who is funding electoral activity. And secret money blocks the public's right to know. So if George and I together embrace a no secret money pledge, the winners will be Virginia voters.
Do you think it's possible that they're going to agree to something like this? I mean, they haven't answered any calls from reporters or anything like that. Or I mean, how does this go from being just a campaign ploy is not the word I want to use, but something along those lines, to actually something tangible that results in something down the road?
If George Allen acts in accord with his stated words, they will agree. Because he said in response to your question at the debate on December 7th that he supports the Virginia rule of transparency in campaign donations. And so what I have done is I've said, hey, if you agree with that, then we do have something we can work on together. You may not agree with me on super PACs, but if you agree with me that transparency is good for the process, then let's make it work. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I do know this: if he's consistent with his stated principle, he'll agree.
You guys have both gone back and forth about outside groups coming in and having an impact on the race. Today, the Allen campaign put out something about the AFL-CIO support of you. Do you think that there's any due criticism in the idea that labor may have an undue influence on you during this campaign? How would you respond to that?
Well, two things, Ryan. First, the only reason that George knows that is because we disclosed those donations. So again, that is the public's right to know. I think if you look at the more than $5 million that we had raised, every penny of it disclosed through the end of December 2011, you will see that there were certain money from organizations associated with unions, and there's also a whole lot of money associated with PACs and other organizations with corporations. You will see that both of those amounts of money are actually pretty small in comparison to the total. I am proud to have everybody's support because I'm not trying to divide people one against another. But the only reason that George is making this pitch is because I've been disclosing the donors.
All right. Anything else you want to add about it? I know your time is short.
No, I just really think the voters I talk to are very disturbed at the super PAC phenomenon, but the thing that disturbs them most is the notion of secret money. People outside the state should not be able to influence the elections but hide their identities behind these weird quirks in the election laws. And I think Democrats, Republicans, and independents would agree that no secret money is a very good principle by which we ought to run these elections.